I'm Penny and this is my channel. So this week, thanks to Pidgeo from EA Australia, I've been playing Alice Madness Returns and I'm having a really good time with it. It's the sequel to American McGee's Alice, which was released something like 10 or more, I think it's between 10 and 12 years ago for PC. I haven't actually played original Alice, American McGee's Alice, but Madness Returns does come with a code to download it on PSN or Xbox Live if that's your thing. And so I'm going to play that after I finish Madness Returns, but today I just thought I'd give you my thoughts, my first impressions of how Alice Madness Returns is going, so yeah. I remember watching videos of American McGee's Alice years ago now and being like way too scared to play it because I'm kind of a sissy when it comes to scary games. I don't play Silent Hill, I don't play Resident Evil, but Madness Returns kind of had something that kind of drew me into it. I think it was the art style. It just looked like a really fun game just to look at, if nothing else, so I'd been looking at it and wanting to play it and I managed to luckily land myself a copy, so I wasn't sure what to expect. I was a little scared, but I haven't been like too frightened. Nothing's keeping me up at night, like scared out of my whatever now, so I was at least happily surprised with that. And it's worth it because the art style is so beautiful. You start out in London in like Alice's real life, and it's kind of like dark and dank and just not so nice looking, but you can still see really nice textures. It's cool because Alice herself is like she just looks so good. Her dresses are so nice in this version, and she herself is like a really pretty character model, and everyone around her is kind of, I don't want to say ugly, but their worst features are sort of drawn out, like kids with like really big noses or like huge ears or whatever. Like they're kind of like caricatures, and it's interesting. You kind of see how Alice is like the pure heart or whatever out of all these people who are really cruel to her, because throughout the parts in London you often hear people like making really crude remarks, rude remarks to Alice. So I thought that was a nice little touch they put in. But when you move into Wonderland, or you move on to the Wonderland stages of the game, it's just, because of like seeing London a second ago and moving into Wonderland, it just kind of pops out at you. It's so nice. Like, there's a whole bunch of different levels and chapters, and I'm up to chapter 2 now. I've seen a few different areas of the game. I've seen a big steampunk level, that was chapter 1, and now I'm in the underwater level. And it's just so cool to see the differences between them, and oh, the landscape of the whole game is just so beautiful. Another nice little touch design-wise is that Alice's dress changes depending on the chapters and location and everything. In London, she's kind of just like short black hair, just like kind of black and white, boringish little outfit. In generic Wonderland, it's like just a normal Wonderland blue apron dress. And then in the different chapters of the game, she'll kind of have a dress that's suited to the chapter, like the steampunk. She looks like this Victorian, brownish, purplish, really nice number, and then the underwater one's all flowing and seashells, and it's just kind of cool. And I'm like, that's one of my favorites of moving to a new chapter, is seeing Alice's new dress. But onto the gameplay itself, there's two main different parts of the game. There's combat and there's platforming. The platforming parts are by far my favorite, to the point where I'll see like a bit that has combat coming up and I'll be like, I just want to jump around on mushrooms for a while. I don't want to fight things, but the fighting itself is pretty fun, considering I like platforming a lot more. I still enjoy the levels with the fighting. It's pretty challenging. I'm only playing on normal difficulty, but I've already died like a whole bunch of times, because there'll be a huge group of monsters and you have to remember to dodge from different attacks and just like watch out for something else, and it is pretty fun, but it can be really challenging. Like, I couldn't even fathom playing on Nightmare, which is the hardest mode, so normal is definitely challenging enough for me. I did get frustrated and actually rage quit a couple of times at the very start, because I was still getting used to the combat, and suddenly I'd be fighting like 6, 7, 8 different monsters at once, and I'd forget to dodge, and I'd forget what to do, and it was just so frustrating, but I've definitely gotten used to it now, which is good. And I've noticed that, I don't know if it's maybe just the chapter I'm on right now, but there is definitely a lot more platforming. Combat isn't just thrown at you randomly, which I do like, because I'm a huge fan of platforming. There are also little mini-games thrown in every so often, which is nice. In chapter 2 I can recall there's a kind of ship mini-game where it's like a side-scrolling ship and you have to watch out for like bombs and like these bonefish and crabs shooting bombs at you, which is pretty cool. There was one where you had to kind of, it was almost like a side-scrolling Guitar Hero, but there was no music. It's kind of hard to explain, but you had to like follow along and hit the right buttons when they came up, which was cool. And there was also one we had to kind of put the piece of a poster together, if that makes sense, but it is nice how they kind of just like throw in little mini-games to mix it up a bit and just kind of get you, just throw in something different and new, which is fun. Considering that I never played American McGee's Alice, I think I'm following Madness Returns' story pretty well. It's not too hard to follow. There's little cutscenes every so often. One of the cool things I like is that you can collect memories, and there are different memories of like Alice's family, parts from the asylum on the first game, parts from the doctors and everything, which is really cool. And whenever you collect a memory, you'll see a little snippet come up, something that's like someone said to her in her life, which is really cool. there's also little doors you can visit the kind of, they show mini cutscenes of, they're really stylized cutscenes, they're kind of like paper cutouts, but it is really cool, and you can view like little bits of the past, like parts around the fire that burned down her family's house, which was like the whole story. The whole story stems from that. She kind of blames herself for that, but I won't go too far into it. But it is really cool how the story kind of pieces together while you're playing. You don't have to just go along, play for 4 hours, then watch a cutscene. It kind of mixes itself in with the gameplay, which is really cool. Anyway, I will stop this there because I haven't played too much of the game. I do intend to do a full review, either a video review or a written review on my website, but either way I will show you guys where to find that at some point. And before I can call the game cool anymore, I will stop this there. So yeah, I am enjoying Madness Returns, and if you guys are playing it or you've already finished it, let me know what you thought of it because I'm interested. I'll try to have another video up in the next few days, but don't forget you can always follow me on Twitter, Facebook, or check out my blog. The links are all in the description. And until my next video, I guess, yeah, I'll see you guys then. But yeah, bye!